see someone change in front of you, and you know there's no going back. It scares me to death.
When was the last time you were afraid? Really afraid?
Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Heavy Leather Horror Show podcast, your weekly guide to all things horror from the heart of which city? Salem, Massachusetts.
We're so lucky to be young and in love and in Salem.
Thank you, Stacy. I'm your old pal Ken, a.k.a. rock and roll writer, sleaze grinder, and there she is, everybody. It's Salem's greatest huntress. It's Kelly Kapow.
Hi, everyone.
Let's fucking party!
Me and Kelly were up all night watching softcore porn.
We were.
And there he is, everybody. It's Rui, the 16-year-old intern.
I was a teenage werewolf. Fantastic. Bewildering.
Hey, Rui. Rui was up all night watching softcore porn, too, on his own.
No, he wasn't. He's too young for that. He's probably watching like anime or something.
Oh no, because I had to haul the creature from the Black Little Lagoon home in 90-degree weather, so as soon as I got home, I crashed.
Also, producing the show tonight, horror show director Stacy Dawn.
No one messes with Stacy and lives.
Hi, Stacy.
Hello.
Also with us, our most famous friend, Survivor, and horror show assistant director, Lurser is here.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Yeah!
Damn it.
So exciting. And
I know.
And well, Stace, it sounds like the bats are in the belfry. Yep. And the monsters, are they chained up in the dungeon? Okay. Are the wolves howling? I think I might hear them. Oh. And the wind is lashing the house. That can only mean one thing.
What does it mean?
It's time to get to the show. Thank you. This week and every week we'll have a little horror news. We'll be talking about some horror movies that we've seen lately, and we'll be reviewing a film together this week. It's the new body horror film streaming on Shudder called Beach House. Beach House, everybody. So that's going to be exciting. Stace, you ready for the week in death? Thank you.
Oh, God.
Oh,
Here we go.
Don't worry, we'll get through the week in death, and then we'll bring everything back up. We're gonna bring it down, then we'll bring it up.
All right.
Some notable people who died this week. Different years, of course. They didn't all die this year. In 2004, Arthur Kane, American musician, bass player for the New York Dolls, dies from advanced leukemia at 55 years old. In 1981, Billy the Kid.
No, 1881.
I mean, 1881.
Yeah.
In 1881, Billy the Kid, American frontier outlaw, shot by Sheriff Pat Garrett, died of gunshot wounds at age 21. Good night, sweet prince, Billy the Kid. Hey, in 1997, Gianni Versace, or if you watch Showgirls, Stace. Versace.
Oh, yeah.
Italian fashion designer. Shot and murdered by Andrew Cunanan at age 50. You remember that?
Why did he shoot him?
Why did he shoot him, Stace?
I don't know. I didn't watch the documentary. There's a documentary. I haven't seen it, though.
In 2017, we lost Martin Landau, American actor. He was Bela Lugosi in Ed Wood. And he was also in The Amazing Alone in the Dark.
He was on the X-Files movie, too.
Oh, I like that movie.
Yeah.
He died at age 89 I guess, if you died at 89, there's no real cause of death. It's just 89. 89 killed you.
Pretty good run.
Yeah. It's definitely a good run, but it probably doesn't feel like a good run when you get there. When you're there, you're like, how come I couldn't go to 95?
I don't know, man. I think I'd be ready to go by then.
Really? I hope so. I hope that's what happens. I hope you just get tired, and then you're like, okay,
everything
I'm ready.
starts to hurt more, right?
Yeah. Hey, in 1999, John F. Kennedy Jr., American magazine publisher, George Magazine, you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Lawyer and son of JFK, dies in a plane crash, age 38.
Wow.
What is with the Kennedys and dying, man?
They do it a lot.
The curse.
It's a curse. Curse of the Kennedys.
In 1988, Nico, U.S. model and pop singer from the Velvet Underground, she died of a stroke at age 43.
How does that happen?
Died of a stroke? I don't know. I don't even want to think
A
about it.
lot of cocaine use.
I hope so. I hope it was. I mean, I don't hope so, but I hope that was something that she did herself, because dying at 43 is crazy. 2016, Gary Marshall, American TV and film director, Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley Stays.
Mm-hmm.
He made Pretty Woman. He died at 81. And finally, this week in death, in 2017, George A. Romero, American filmmaker, father of the zombie film Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, dies at age 77. Again, if you die,
Not Land of the Dead, right?
It also Land of the Dead.
Oh shit.
And Diary of the Dead. He made a bunch of them, but of course the first three are one of the ones that everybody remembers. He died at 77, and there you go. That's this week's Day and Death. Okay.
Rest in pieces, everyone.
Rest in peace. See you in hell.
Did you just flush them down the toilet?
I did. They're finished.
See you, Romero.
Shit.
They're finished. What can I do? I mean, we got to move on. All right, everybody. A couple things before we get to the movies. Did Andy Excuse finally make it? We'll see. Oh, this is great. So scientists were able to reconstruct an Egyptian mummy's voice, which Stace, that's pretty interesting, right?
Sure.
Okay, let's hear it. Let's check it out. You're gonna like this.
Scientists were able to mimic Nessie Amun's voice by recreating his mouth and vocal cords with a 3D printer. It allowed them to produce a single sound.
That's it?
That's it.
Fucking
A grunt?
Yeah, there he goes. Let's hear it again.
Science, the things that have happened. I mean, it's just incredible.
Sounded like he stubbed his toe.
That's the sound you make when you realize you're a mummy now.
But also, how do they know they got it right?
They got that clip from Brendan Fraser's The Mummy, and you know it.
Well, they took his vocal cords and they made a model out of it, and then I don't know, they did some science and that's what came out. That's pretty.
That
fun.
sounds like every person that grunts. That could be man, woman, anything. It's just a loud grunting noise.
It doesn't sound that.
Maybe not a woman.
It doesn't sound
Maybe
that.
me.
It doesn't sound that Egyptian either, really. That sounds like
I mean, you can't even tell because he's not even speaking anything. He's just screaming.
Oh!
I like it. Hey, Andy, can we hear you yet, buddy? No, he's still looking around. But he's got a camera, so that's halfway there. Hey, Lost Boys is being developed as a TV series on the CW.
Huh.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it going to be like Riverdale or something?
Says here the series is set in modern day and follows two brothers who move to a seaside town in North Carolina with their single mother. Once there, they learn that it's teeming with vampires. Yep.
Is it going to be as gay as the original?
We can only hope that it will be as gay as the original. Okay. It's a CW. They used to do all those teenage shows, right?
They still do all those teenage shows.
Yeah, they do gay stuff. Like Pretty Little Liars had those tiny lists.
Oh, I remember that show. I had to give it up. I hate those shows that just keep dragging the fuck on. And they never tell you what happens in every episode. There's like 7 seasons of you trying to figure out who killed one person.
I got tired and I went on Google and fucking Googled the books and I found out who was the killer because I couldn't take it anymore. It was like 4 fucking seasons.
I read a bunch of the books, the first few books.
Oh, that's right, you
and
did.
then I was like, all right, this is enough of that.
Yeah, too much.
It was too much.
This is why I like anthologies. Give me like a half hour. I find out everything that's happened. Move on to the next one. You know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hey everybody, board the crazy train for the new Travel Channel series, The Osbournes Want to Believe.
Want to believe what?
Yeah, here we go. Join America's Tell It Like It Is family, the Osbournes, as they examine jaw-dropping paranormal videos in Travel Channel's new series, The Osbournes Want to Believe, premiering this August. The new 8-part series stars Ozzy, Jack, and Sharon Osbourne as they explore mind-blowing videos of supernatural and paranormal activity.
Since they can't go anywhere.
Yeah, right. They're stuck in the house. Jack Osbourne is determined to make his parents, Ozzy and Sharon, full-fledged paranormal believers. Dim the lights and settle in for fun, scares, and unfiltered humor. In Travel Channel, it's The Osbournes Want to Believe. They might
be fun.
They might be known as the first family of darkness, but when it comes to the paranormal, legendary rocker Ozzy Osbourne and his wife, the Talk co-host Sharon Osbourne, are borderline skeptics.
Oh, Ozzy's definitely going to be just going, no way, the whole time.
Determined to turn them fully to the other side, Jack reunites with Ozzy and Sharon to share the craziest, most jaw-dropping videos of supernatural activity ever caught on camera. But the question still remains if the Prince and Princess of Darkness will see the light when it comes to the paranormal, or if they think it's just another ride on the crazy train. During each hour-long episode...
I see what they did there.
Right. Jack will reveal a series of mind-blowing paranormal clips from the great beyond for his parents to witness, from Bigfoot to UFOs, poltergeists, creepy dolls, and unexplained apparitions. The couple will review and critique each caught-on-camera moment, a compilation of Jack's favorite pieces of evidence. Not ones to shy away from honesty and humor, there's no shortage of fun antics and lively commentary in the Osbourne screening room.
Huh.
All right.
That could be fun.
Sunday, August 2nd, it premieres. Everybody on the Travel Channel.
I think someone needs to sit down on a sofa with Ken and show him clips and try to convince him.
There's no convincing me of anything. So hopefully it works for Ozzy. Because nothing. Stace, if there's no explanation for it, then it doesn't exist, right?
Nothing is real. We're not even real, Ken.
Who knows?
Could all be a stimulation. Stace, are you ready?
Stimulation.
Or
he still has his mind on the softcore porn that we watched last night.
Yeah, it could just be stimulation. That's all. Hey, everybody! It's time for bad news. So there's a lot of bad news in the world, and we have more of it. So let's get to it.
All right, ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Couldn't be more ready.
First bad news. Doctors remove live worm from woman's tonsil.
Hold on. The mummy has something to say about that.
This is literally my fucking worst nightmare, is like a creature living inside of me.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
A team of Japanese doctors shared details of the case of a woman suffering throat irritation who actually had a live worm inside of her tonsil.
Oh my God.
Yeah. The doctors said in a study published in July issue of the American Society of Tropical Medicine and Hygiene that the 25-year-old came into St. Luke's International Hospital in Tokyo complaining of throat irritation 5 days after eating sashimi. The medical team discovered a 1.5-inch black worm living inside the woman's tonsil, and the creature was removed using tweezers.
Oh, no! What?
The worm, which was alive, was identified as the 4th stage larva of what, Ken? Pseudoterranova
Sure. You got it.
azaras, a parasitic roundworm. The worms sometimes are found infecting the stomachs of patients who consume raw or undercooked marine fish that contains the creature's larva. More than 700 cases of the infections involving the worms have been documented in Japan, the Netherlands, South America, and North Pacific countries, the doctor said. The team said the woman's symptoms quickly improved after the worm was removed and her blood tests came back to normal.
Oh, boy.
Damn.
Please don't tell me there's a 5th stage on those things.
I just this to me is literally my worst fucking nightmare. I have nightmares all the time about one time I had a nightmare that I literally pulled a worm out of my nipple. So I know. Which, when we get there, we'll talk about a scene that happened in the beach house, the group watch. It's really just something that I can't handle. I feel like what the fuck is that guy's name? Harvey? No. That guy that got the maggots in his legs, remember? What's his name? He was in Monsters Under the Bed.
What? I don't
Anybody know what I'm talking about? The actor that was in the movie Monsters Under the Bed. He was also a host on like some show.
The sound of a...
All right, forget it, everyone. Anyways, he has a severe fear of things going into his body. And I share that with him.
Well,
Fred Savage?
Not Fred Savage, the older guy that played the actual creature.
Well, I would...
Howie Mandel.
Yes, Howie Mandel.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, he's a germaphobe, right?
Yes, because he got a maggot in his leg or something.
Oh,
and and he had to have it removed, and it turned him in this huge germaphobe.
Yeah,
I mean, fair enough.
Let's hear it for Rui saving Kelly on
Saving
that one.
me,
because
shit.
Nobody knew
That
what the
was
fuck
so
she was talking about.
That was gonna go on for a while.
Good job, buddy. Always willing to help.
No, please save your applause. And no, keep clapping. Keep clapping.
All right, let's get to the next story. We got to get that vision out of our head. I don't want any worms in my throat.
Ew.
Well, I'll give you another vision.
All right, here we go.
450-pound man tries to hide marijuana from police by using his stomach fat.
That makes sense. If you got it, use it.
Exactly.
That's the weight I'm not gonna throw.
Deltona, Florida, a central Deltona.
Okay, that sounds right.
Yeah. FLA.
Yeah, that's Florida, buddy.
Yeah. Okay, Deltona, Florida. A
Yeah.
Central Florida man who weighs
You
about
set the scene for us. Deltona, Florida. We got it. We know where we're at. Now let's get to the story.
Where's his fucking tumbleweed, man?
A Central Florida man who weighs about 450 pounds faces multiple charges after sheriff's deputies said he hid cocaine and 32 grams of marijuana under his stomach fat, according to a new release. A Volusia County Sheriff deputy stopped a vehicle Friday after noticing that the passenger wasn't wearing a seatbelt. According to a new release, a Volusia County Sheriff's deputy stopped the vehicle. Oh, wait, I read that already. Officials say that 42-year-old Christopher Mitchell told the deputy that he was too big to wear a seatbelt.
Right.
The deputy says he requested a drug-detecting dog because Mitchell and a driver appeared nervous. The dog detected the presence of a drug in the vehicle. In addition to the drugs on Mitchell, deputies say they also found a handgun and $7,000 in cash in the vehicle. Mitchell and the driver were arrested.
So wait a minute.
Was the gun and the money under him as well?
Yeah,
Under
It doesn't say, but we can only assume.
Did he jam everything in there?
I think so.
That would be awesome.
I mean, you could fit a lot. If you have a really large stomach, I imagine that you could fit a lot underneath it. Kind of like you could fit things underneath your boobs.
Yeah,
You know
I was
what
thinking
mean?
that. Like, if you have big boobs, you could pile a lot in there.
You can hold stuff underneath them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a friend that it was a party favor. We would all get wasted when I lived in Philly, and her breasts are enormous, and she would lift bicycles with them. She could fit a bicycle under there and lift it. And she would put bottles of liquor, like those huge jugs of wine, and she like under her breast and would pour it into people's mouth without using her hands.
So the weight of the breast was enough to hold down the bicycle so she could pick it up.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
Damn.
It was amazing.
I hear that you can carry a lot of stuff in your, if you have a big bust, you can carry a lot of stuff in your bra too. Like you can put your wallet in there, and you could put your phone in there, and
Yes, you can. I used to do that when I was younger. And then I'd get home drunk and take my bra off, and everything was tumbling out. It was like fucking emptying Mary Poppins' purse.
All right, let's continue on. I can see Andy again. Maybe we'll hear
Yeah, can you hear me this
Oh
time?
my God! Hey!
Holy shit!
Welcome to the show, Andy Excuse. Yes!
Took me a while.
All right.
Thank you.
Former cameraman for Heavy Leather Topless Dance Party. Andy Excuse. Of the Fighting Fish. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Thank you. It's great to be here. It's great for a middle-aged man to figure out how to Zoom.
Yeah, it took a bit, but it took about as long as it probably should have. All right, next story, please.
Honey leaking through walls alerts Pennsylvania couple to bee infestation.
Ooh, this is a bee story, Stace. I know how much you like bees.
Yeah. Pennsylvania family who found a mysterious sticky substance dripping from their walls discovered the thick liquid was honey and their walls were full of bees. Yeah. Andrea Isabel said she and her husband first noticed the dark spots on the wall of their Perkasie, Bucks County home after Tropical Storm Faye passed through the area. Isabel said they initially thought the spots were water damage from the storm, but they soon discovered the dark spots were honey leaking through the walls.
So just imagine that. Just imagine that happening, Stace. Like that would really it would really freak you out.
Oh yeah.
Like what, this is sticky stuff coming through the walls.
Yeah, it's like a horror movie.
Until you taste it. Until you taste it, and then
delicious.
Okay, well now.
How delightful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be brave enough to put in your mouth, though.
Yeah, exactly. My husband felt this really sticky, syrupy stuff. We were brave and smelled it. He said, "This is honey. This is honey pouring down our walls," Isabel told the TV. The family enlisted the help of Alan Latanzi, the bee man of Yerkes Honey Farms in Collegeville.
They got the bee man.
Latanzi said there is a colony of bees living in the walls of the house. Latanzi said he is working on a plan to extract the bees. The bees become my girls, Latanzi said. I will take them home and they will become honey producer for me. This will make a colony.
So, but wouldn't you hear the buzzing, Stace, in your walls?
You would, maybe. It depends maybe on how thick their walls are, maybe, or where they are in the wall. I don't know.
It's funny because the movie that I watched last week was it the girl on the third floor.
Yeah.
That's what was happening to the guy. Like the sticky black stuff was coming out of the walls.
Yeah.
But that was supernatural.
But that was different.
And semen was coming out of the walls. But that was supernatural.
That was something
totally
else.
A different taste.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to taste that. I've seen videos of people's houses that were infested with bees, and it's pretty horrible.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that didn't happen to us, Stace. You wouldn't have liked that at all.
No, that's why I was worried when I found dead hornets.
Yeah, I remember. As a whole...
Wasps, I should say. Wasps.
Next story, please, on Bad News.
All right. Delaware shop owner throws pizza at attempted robber brandishing machete, police say. Can I help you?
I want to order a fucking pizza!
All right, let's find out what happened.
This takes place in Greenwood, Delaware.
Sure.
Delaware State Police say a pizza shop owner used his available resources to fend off a robbery attempt by a man with a machete. They say he threw a pizza at him. A state police news release says it happened Friday as the owner of Stargate Pizza in Greenwood was closing down his shop for the night. He told troopers that a man with a machete approached him demanding money. He said he didn't have any and then threw the pizza. Police say the suspect then fled and the store owner was unhurt. Police didn't say what happened to the pizza.
So wait a minute. So he hit the guy. First of all, kudos to this guy because it's really machetes are scary. I do not want to get hit with the machete. If a guy was threatening me with a machete, I just do what he says. But so he threw the pizza. How do you, in your head, how do you throw a pizza perfectly enough so that it hits somebody and they run away? Obviously,
you have to take it like this. You'd have to put it in your hands and throw it so the hot melted cheese
so
would
it's
hit
got
the face.
So he's got to get a face full of hot cheese. That's
exactly.
What about whipping it like a discus so the sharp edge hits you right across the throat?
That has to be some crispy ass crust.
Yeah.
If it's been sitting around for a while, then you got to frisbee.
And forget the Sicilian.
you got to frisbee. But if it's hot, then you got to give him a face full.
Yeah,
that thing's got some weight.
The square pizza's not going to work as well.
Oh, however,
it had like hot sauce on it or some spicy stuff.
Jalapenos
in the eyes.
However, he did it right because it worked.
There's probably a whole martial art of various ways you can injure someone with a pizza.
Trained in the
now there certainly
art of
is.
throwing pizza.
It's so slapsticky, you know what I mean? Just like a guy with a fucking machete. It's just so silly.
Well, what's funny about it is, so this guy shows up. He's got a machete. He's got this plan, and what stops him is a pizza.
Yeah, like he didn't swing at the pizza.
Did not see that coming.
He got hit.
That's all it took.
He got hit with a pizza, and he went, "I'm out of here. I can't handle this.
And deal with it.
This is not a criminal mastermind." I mean, like, I figure most guys can deal with getting hit with a pizza. Not this character.
I think he went into shock.
He did.
Maybe he was lactose intolerant, Ken.
Oh, that could be it. That could be it. Hey,
allergy.
Speaking of food, we have another food-related story. Rui, what happened, buddy?
All right. New York's hungry rats torment alfresco diners after lockdown famine.
I get it because the rats are used to eating all the scraps from people, and there's no people around, so they got to get more brave. All right, let's find out what's going on here.
New York City is starting to tentatively emerge from the ravages of the coronavirus pandemic, but a revival in outdoor restaurant and dining is facing a new hazard, a plague of rats.
Yikes.
Diners are facing a surge in rat activity following the lockdown period, where the rodents were cut off from key food sources as businesses, including restaurants and grocery stores, shut down, forcing rats to battle for the snacks and even eat each other.
Sure.
So only the strong rats have survived.
Yeah.
So we have the super rats.
So these are very aggressive rats.
These are the best of the best.
Right.
Like that movie.
They're warrior rats.
Wow.
Yeah.
Machete wielding rats.
Since June 22nd, New York City restaurants have allowed people to have been allowed to serve people again in outdoor seating, prompting sidewalks and car parking spaces to be dotted with tables and chairs. But the resumption of alfresco's dining has led to people having unexpected rodent companions for their meals. Gianno Romano, who owns Sisio, an Italian restaurant in Manhattan, Soho, said rats from nearby parks have been harassing diners since the outdoor meals were
Can you imagine? Jesus.
Yeah. Last night, a customer had a baby rat running on his shoe, and I'll let you just imagine his reaction.
Here, I'll give you his reaction. That's what it was.
I knew he was gonna play that fucking mummy. I knew it.
That's not the last time you'll hear it.
I know.
No doubt. Romano told NBC, Romano and the other business owners have called on the city to do more to reduce the rat populations as the city hauls itself out of the pandemic crisis that has claimed more than 20,000 lives. New infections and deaths have dropped sharply since April, but New York City has postponed plans to allow indoor dining due to concerns over surging COVID-19 cases in other states, such as Florida, Texas, and Arizona. New York City has waged a long and often fruitless war against rats, with the rodents adapting arduously to the city's haphazard waste collection and disposal practices. Rats are a common sight in the streets and subways, where rodents have proven themselves adept at sprinting away with slices of pizza. The resumption of dining activity is likely to stir a wave of activity among rats following a period of relative famine, meaning interactions with people are set to continue.
I mean, it's just something that you have to accept now if you want to eat outside in New York. You gotta share with the rats. I remember
better than dining alone.
Yeah, it's true. I remember, Stace, if you remember back in Aubon Penn in Harvard Square.
Yeah.
There was always aggressive birds that would just like drop down on your table and try to eat your croissants.
Yeah.
like
yeah, that happened to me on Newbury Street once too.
Like pigeons and the sparrows, they would just drop right down on your table and try to.
I was eating a muffin outside Starbucks, and a bird sat down right next to my muffin on the table.
Exactly.
I was like,
just
"Get out of here!"
Yeah. So it's like that. It just way more disgusting. I mean, it just Just listen. Just give them a little, and they'll split.
I don't think
it works like that, man.
They want more.
The creatures are taking the land back. That's what's happening.
Nature is healing.
If a rat shows up, if you're outside eating a hamburger and a rat shows up, just if you throw him a chunk of the hamburger, he's going to take it and run off. He's not going to sit there and eat it with you.
He's going to come back with 20 of his friends.
I say, get the hell out of here, you rat bastard.
You'll be long gone by then.
We could be looking at this the wrong way. I mean, are the rats the problem, or are we?
Yeah,
we are, Andy.
Also,
thank you. Right on.
Also, not every spot is a great spot for outdoor eating either.
Right.
You know what I mean, Stace?
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of the problem.
Yeah, I agree with that. Not every place is ideal for that.
I mean, I'm just picturing like a dumpster and like trash everywhere and like sitting at a fucking bistro table, like.
Right, because that's all they're doing. It's like the inner, it's New York City, and just like, it's like whatever local pizza place, and they just, it's no place that you'd actually want to eat. You usually go and get your slice and take off, but now they're just putting, and it's also tables and chairs on the sidewalks. It's already hard enough to walk down the goddamn street in New York City, and now you got to move around. The rats deserve whatever they get from these people, honestly.
Yeah,
I agree.
Or the people deserve whatever they get from the rats.
Yeah, exactly.
You
know what I'm saying.
We're on an equal footing here, or we are in New York.
I mean, people gotta survive, obviously, but
Yeah, it's
In fact, the footing is unequal since the rats have twice as many.
Well, they should hire our rat. Where did our rat guy go, Stace?
I think he's in South Carolina now.
Okay, call that guy New York, because we had a big rat problem in Cambridge.
Yeah.
And then this guy showed up, the rat guy, and he got rid of all the rats. And now, flourishing in Cambridge and Somerville, rabbits. So you have, and here in Salem too, Stace. So they're pests. They're pests as well, but they're much nicer. Much nicer.
When you say rat guy, do you mean like the rat guy comes and puts them all in like a nice little crate and takes them off to like the rat island? Live happily ever after.
He kills all the rats.
Oh, terrible.
Yeah, but he did a great job because there were rats everywhere, and this guy got rid of all the rats. And he
Don't send the guy in to get rid of the bunnies.
And he told Stacy that he got rid of all the rats because Stacy was like, "Hey," when she was talking to the rat guy, she's like, "Hey, how come? Why are there so many bunnies all over the place?" And he was like, "Well, what happened is the rats used to eat the baby bunnies while they were still in their holes.
Oh, geez.
And that would keep down the rabbit population. But now there's no rats eating the baby bunnies in their holes, so there's rabbits everywhere." Eventually, we'll have to call a rabbit guy. That's what will happen. Eventually, but we can deal with the rabbits at the moment. We have a final piece of bad news.
Family found man declared dead, still alive after breaking into hospital morgue.
That's pretty.
That's crazy.
That's pretty intense. So Stace, you're saying that they broke into the morgue?
Yeah.
Because they didn't believe the guy was dead?
Apparently not. Let's find out.
All right.
The family of a man declared dead broke into the morgue in disbelief, only to find him alive and breathing. The Colombian family found Juan Jose Munoz.
Keep going.
Romero, 67. I don't want to butcher any names. Awake with his eyes open after one of his daughters infiltrated the hospital. Doctors in the hospital in the city of Sincelejo.
Wait, try that again.
Sincelejo.
Let me see if that's right.
Sincelejo?
One more time, Stace.
Sincelejo.
I'm going to give it to you.
I don't know.
I'm going to give it to you.
I'm sure it's incorrect.
Sounded the same.
In the Caribbean region.
I just wanted to end it.
Colombia had declared Mr. Romero dead only hours earlier, but his family couldn't believe it and demanded to see him. Mr. Romero had been taken to the La Pinitas health clinic with sudden high blood pressure, according to reports in the Colombian media. The local newspaper El Heraldo reports doctors at the clinic told the patient's family on Monday, July 6th, that he died just 2 hours after entering the hospital, but his relatives did not trust the medics. His daughter, who has not been named in reports, told the paper that they were not allowed to see her father's body because of the coronavirus protocols. However, she later broke into the hospital's morgue when doctors were distracted. This sounds like a movie.
Yeah.
And says she found her father breathing unconscious inside. She told the newspaper that doctors had tried to convince her that her father was dead, and what she was seeing was natural reactions seen in patients after death.
Like breathing?
Why would they do that? That's so weird. Her brother, Martin, told the paper, "My sister did not believe that answer and decided to take the body from there, and we took him to another clinic. But all that time in the morgue had affected him, and he was suffering from ischemia, which occurs when blood supply to an organ or body part is too low."
So what?
Cold in there?
So what? Right. So what happens is...
Yeah, because it's like the freezer, right?
So what happens is they something's wrong with their dad. They bring him to the hospital. They're sitting in there.
That's so weird.
And then the doctor comes out and he goes, "I'm sorry, your father is dead, finished." And then she goes, "That's not right. I don't. That can't be." And then so she says to her brother, distract these
people while I sneak in.
Distract the nurse for me real quick." And he's like, "What? What am I supposed to do?" And she's like, "I don't know, fake a heart attack or something." so this is what I'm guessing is happening. So he fakes a heart attack, and they go to rush to help him out. And she runs in. I don't know how she knows where the morgue is, by the way. That's
maybe there's a sign.
Well, it sounds like it was just a clinic. It wasn't like a giant hospital. So
unless there's a big sign that says morgue, and then she runs in there,
I don't know.
and then she looks at her dad, and her dad looks at her, and he says, and then they get out of there.
Oh my god!
and then they get out of there.
But it was too late.
What a story!
Wait, but this guy's name was Romero, and technically
he came back from the dead.
Dead.
Yeah.
There we go. This is some sort of viral marketing campaign.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening here.
Thank you, everybody. That's this week's bad news. Good job, everybody. I was gonna help out Rui with a couple of those words, but I just let him.
Yeah, it's all right.
I was gonna.
Yet I get the fucking tumbleweed.
Here's the problem: you're giving the dyslexic guy the long ones.
I know. I
give him the short ones next.
Adroitly is that's a difficult one. I inspirited, but he did his best. All right, hey, let's talk about some movies that we've seen lately.
Cool.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
There it is.
Right there on my TV. Horror movie and there's no refuse. Horror movie
Oh, and that was in Two Heads Creek.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Hey, everybody. This is the part of the show where we tell you about some movies that we've seen lately. So let's do it. Let's go around the room and find out what people have seen. Hey, Rui, what have you seen? Have you seen any horror or horror-adjacent films this week that you want to talk about?
Honestly, not really. I like watched a lot of movies last week, but not this week. Yeah. I know. I'm ashamed.
Well, buddy, we're gonna have to put you in the penalty box for a bit.
Oh man,
Time out.
Yeah,
understandable.
Kind of.
I didn't understand the risks.
What kind of horror fan is this guy?
If you don't watch one horror movie every day, not a true horror fan.
Hey, Larcer, how about you?
So I watched For Me and Rui.
Okay, good.
I saw 3 movies this week, plus the one that we have to collectively share. I saw the movie Cam.
Okay, Cam.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, I think. It's a psychological horror with that girl from Handmaid's Tale, the one that loses the eye, Madeline Brewer, and she's a cam girl, and her goal is to be in the top 10 of this website, which, aside from seeing a horror movie, I learned so much about some couples on the 90 Day Fiancé show regarding this movie. It was great. It enlightened me a lot. But she wants to be in the top 10, and the same website starts stealing her personality and her face, and they copy her whole house. So they block her account, and they started her account by themselves, and she was winning a lot of followers, and she was around, I think she was number 3 at some point. But what was interesting is that she was mixing, aside from doing sexy shit on camera, she was doing horror shit to it, and fans were like, why don't you kill yourself or start masturbating with a knife? And she would cut her neck, she would slit her throat, and that was on the first 5 minutes of the movie. And I'm like, is it done? But it was a whole trick. And then because that thing gained a lot of followers and making a lot of money, then the computer thing shot herself in the mouth, and they show it, and it was so surreal. And then she learns that because she can access her account, that is the company that is stealing her personality and her whole persona and image and everything. So it was very interesting how she fights that back. She busted her face at the end, but I mean, she won her channel back. We also saw the best, worst horror movie ever in the world, named Birdemic.
Birdemic. So
Birdemic.
Birdemic.
It's free on Amazon. The first part is free. If you want to see Birdemic 2, you have to pay for it. Oh yeah, because it is very similar. Have you seen The Room?
Yeah. Sure.
You know,
isn't that the same? Isn't that Tommy Wiseau as well? No, sorry.
No, it's not Tommy Wiseau's movies. It's another person, but it's so bad. I thought I was watching a comedy. And then we were watching it with Jinx and their husband, as in a couple's date. And it was a horror movie about birds killing people, except the people that thought global warming was a real issue. So it's an educational movie and a horror movie at the same time.
Sure, yeah.
They spent a whole good 10 minutes explaining global warming and why it's killing the planet and why the birds are killing. But the best part is that the birds are made out of CGI and GIFs. So they actually don't move around the movie. They're just there, flipping their wings.
Oh my God.
It's so bad, but it's so good at the same time. It's a train wreck. It's a good one. And what they do to make the the first, like, it seems that they're flying away, is that they start shrinking the gift and shrinking the CGI. It's so bad. It's so good. I will highly recommend that one. And my favorite one this week was Lyle. It's on Shutter. It's very short. It's very straightforward. Lesbian couple that moves into an apartment, and apparently we learned that one of the lesbians has a deal with the devil, and she needs to sacrifice one of her kids. If it's a boy, she needs to sacrifice just a boy, but if she can't get boys, she needs to sacrifice 2 girls for 1 boy.
Wait a second.
Yeah, that doesn't.
Oh yeah, it's 60 minutes. It's really good, and the only problem is that it's so good that they leave, but so short that they leave so many storylines on. Like, you don't know why this woman made a pact with the devil. You don't know why the neighbor can have kids and want these kids. You don't know what's the relationship with her and the neighbor that lives on top. But the whole movie is really good. I wish it was a little bit longer to explain those loose ends to us. But I really like it a lot.
What it's called?
Really one.
It's called Lyle.
It's called Lyle. Yeah.
Like the name Lyle.
Yep.
Is that the
Yeah.
Is the devil's name Lyle in the movie?
No, that's the name of the first kid that died.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I don't like
Really
that. Two girls are worth what 1 boy would be worth.
Yeah, that's a little outrageous.
No, I didn't like that either. But if they don't explain why, they just say it's 2 for 1.
But you know, the devil is apparently sexist.
He's been around for a long time. You know, he's probably got these old-fashioned ideas.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he hasn't really updated his his feelings about these.
He works in
always
mysterious ways.
Yeah,
He's always been portrayed to be so progressive, you know.
Right.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Disappointing.
Really disappointing.
Yeah.
I'm sure the temple has something to say about this.
Yeah, I mean, usually the devil is at the forefront of these kind of things, but these sort of movements. But
You never see
not this
it.
one.
You know that in a lot of these movies that you sell your soul to the devil. You kind of see like at some point like some shadow or like how the deal goes. And I was wondering like how they did this deal. Like, did she call him on his personal phone and be like, "Hey, I'll give you 2 daughters and you give me fame," or where's the contract? Like, none of that gets explained. They're just telling you like, oh, she made a deal, pact with the devil, and she'll become like really rich and famous. And she's like convincing the wife, like, let's just kill this one. Let's kill the second one, and we can keep the other ones that come because we're gonna be famous and rich. And she's like, sure.
Yeah.
And then she kills the wife. Yeah.
It's a good thing, really, that you can't sell your soul to the devil because people would be selling it for just the dumbest shit. And if you could, then there would have to be like an age limit or something. Because I was just thinking about like, when I was like in 5th grade or something, and I think to myself, if I fail this math test tomorrow, my mother's gonna kill me. And if I could have sold my soul to the devil to pass the math test, I would have done it.
Well, I think that you shouldn't be able to sell your soul until you're 18.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And even then, it should be
It would be questionable.
It should
what you
be
sold it for.
commiserate to how much your soul is actually worth. Now, is everybody's soul worth the same amount, or are some souls worth more? I guess that's a question you'd have to answer.
You know, a guy in middle school gave me his soul in exchange for 3 chicken nuggets.
See,
I have something like that too. I have my friend wrote for it was like a Wendy's double hamburger or something. I still have the piece of paper where he signed it, and we had 2 other people sign it that he was selling me his soul for.
In blood?
No blood.
Oh, well, it's probably worthless.
See,
a soul should be worth at least, I'm going to say $8,000. So if you're making a deal for anything for a hamburger or nuggets, then you're
Before
you're
or
a
after
lowball.
taxes?
Good question.
That is an excellent question. I'm thinking before taxes. I don't know what it would be
And
after
Ken,
taxes.
what was $8,000 worth when you were in 5th grade? That was like $1 million.
Right, exactly. So it would have been a terrible deal to pass that stupid test. So that's why I'm saying that you should be at least 18, so you can make saner decisions about.
But the devil is kind of notorious for finding loopholes in these sorts of deals.
I know, exactly.
That's true.
Right.
Do you remember when Homer Simpson sold his soul for a donut?
Yeah,
in the Treehouse
yeah.
of Horror episode.
Or when
Remember that
Fry
one?
sold his hands
Terrifying.
on Futurama
Yeah.
to the Robot Devil to play that instrument. That was really
Yeah.
good.
Well, here's the point, everybody. If we could get to the point. The point is that Larsa would suggest that you see the film Lyle on Shudder.
Yes.
Which is
Yes,
about
100%.
It's about two
Cool.
lesbians and their deal with the devil. Also, Birdemic, which is a CGI bird attack movie that
It's so bad and so good at the same
loves.
time.
It's terrible, but it's also good. And of course, she will also suggest that you see Cam, which is about a cam girl and some kind of crazy trickery, and
if you want to see what happens on Birdemic too, you have to pay for it. It's $4, but they go to Hollywood.
You think it's worth $4?
Sure.
No, but
No.
if you divide those four between the two movies, it's $2 each. So it's worth it.
There you go. It averages out.
Yeah.
All right, beautiful. Let's ask our pal Andy Excuse what he's seen.
I thought I was going to participate last week, so I saw that piece of shit scare package.
Okay.
And coincidentally, I had just seen Two Heads Creek as well. But you guys already spoke about those. One thing, it's been around for a while, but I happened to see it, was Level 16.
Oh yeah,
which
that's a
I
good
like
one.
very much.
That's a really good one.
It really is.
Tell the people about Level 16.
Yeah, well, it's quite the promising horror movie premise. The young schoolgirls are trapped in this strict boarding school where cruel headmistresses order them about, and the guy in charge of everything seems to have sort of not the best motives in mind. Which we've seen that a lot. It's, horror movie. And then it turns out it's not any kind of school or academy or selling anyone's soul to the devil in the really cool supernatural sense. It turns out it's a farm. They're harvesting body parts. They're harvesting organs and various bits and pieces of these healthy young humans to sell on to decrepit old humans. And they're trapped in some Eastern European gulag and have to make their escape with their pluck and spirit.
Yeah. That was a great one.
Good flick.
I enjoyed that one a lot.
What year is that?
Oh, this was just within the past 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
It's very good. I recommend it highly.
16.
It's
Level
it's on Amazon. I don't know if it's on Amazon Prime or not, but I saw it on Amazon and I thought it was really well done.
I agree.
Very good. That's Andy. Stace, anything from you?
Well, I rewatched the What We Do in the Shadows movie yesterday.
The movie, okay.
I love that movie.
Good flick.
Yeah, I mean it's horror comedy basically. Most people have seen it at this point, I would think. But it's a documentary crew following some vampires who are roommates around, and there's some werewolf guys, and it's great.
More like swearwolf.
Yeah.
Swearwolves.
Takes
We're
place in New
werewolves, not
Zealand.
swearwolves.
Right. Takes place in New Zealand.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right, I'll give you mine, and then Kelly can do hers. So this first one, I'm not really recommending it. I just wanted to mention it because it was just very curious to me. It's called Burying the X. It's from 2014, and I really have no idea how you would rate this. But there's a horror nerd obsessed with classic monsters who works in this sort of half-assed horror boutique, and he gets a weird devil figure mixed in with a shipment of naughty nurse outfits. And he calls up his super hot but sort of annoying eco-blogger girlfriend, played by Ashley Greene from the Twilight movies, and asks her to come by and try on some of the sexy Halloween outfits. And she says sure. So far, this is 100% boomer boner fantasy stuff. Everything that's happening. Kid obsessed with classic monsters, and a whole thing. So she fucks him in the store. Joe Dante made this movie, who is you should know that. She fucks him in the store, and it somehow triggers a curse that they'll be together forever, even beyond death. That's the premise. So, as mentioned, she's sort of annoying. But not that annoying. She's annoying because she's really into ecology, and she moves in with him, and she wants to make sure that their apartment is eco-friendly and stuff like that, you know, and she's into recycling, and that's enough for you to hate her, right? But she's also super horny all the time and always wants to bang him. So it's like really hard to be on this guy's side for wanting to get rid of this girl. So
wow.
So anyway, and also he's got this perpetually horny half brother who is this like chubby slob guy and lives in a storage space, but is somehow always having sex with beautiful women whom he then discards when he's done with them. The sexism and misogyny in this thing is really off the charts. Anyway, so the half brother is constantly encouraging him to break up with her again because she's kind of annoying. So the guy meets Alexandria Daddario, the actress, who her character owns again with the boomer shit, a monster / rock and roll themed malt shop.
Oh God!
And then he meets her, and then he's totally into her because he goes in to get a malted, and they have Fruit Brute flavored malted. Fruit Brute was one of the most obscure of the monster cereals from the 70s, So he decides he's got to break up with this blogger chick so he can get with the malt chick. So he lures the first girl to the park to break the news by basically leading her on to tell her that he's gonna buy her a puppy. And on her way there, she gets hit by a bus and dies.
Whoa.
So he immediately starts dating the malt shop girl. And of course, because of the curse, his ex digs herself out of the grave and then comes back home. So now he's in this Three's Company Jack Tripper type situation. Only one of his girlfriends is a zombie. That's the movie, Burying the Ex.
Wow.
That sounds better than Three's Company.
Sounds like he had it coming.
Alexandria Daddario is so likable. It's really hard to completely trash it because it's a great character. But this is also one of the most misogynist movies I think I've ever seen. But in a fun way, if that's possible. It's like fun misogyny.
Fun sexism.
But it still seems impossible to me that no one told Joe Dante just 6 years ago, that the sexual politics in this thing is straight out of the 1950s. You know what I mean? It's like no one said to him this is not going to play well to young people, buddy. But I don't know. I watched it.
Didn't care.
Burying the Ex. It's really something. It'll really. If you were a feminist, rage watch it, and you'll punch holes through the wall.
You need to break your drywall down.
Yeah, exactly. So that's one. Now here are some that I saw that I do recommend. One is called Ghoul. It's from 2015. It's well acted and suitably grimy, and it's frequently disturbing. It's a found footage / possession / cannibal flick about a team of amateur American filmmakers in the Ukraine shooting a documentary on the history of cannibalism in the 20th century. Somehow or another, it's a long story, they end up in a cabin possessed by the spirit of notorious real-life people eater Andrei Chikatilo, if you remember that guy.
Yeah.
Who ate a ton of people. Who really fucks them all up. They conjure him up. They invite a witch. Don't invite a witch to a cabin in the woods.
Yeah.
They invite a witch, and she accidentally conjures up Andrei Chikatilo, and he won't let them leave the cabin unless they eat each other.
Wow.
So it's really...
Yikes.
It's a really fucking dark... And it follows all the found footage tropes. But it was really interesting and really well done. Now, another one that I want to talk about... this one's from also from 2015. It's called Even Lambs Have Teeth. And it's a rape revenge movie. Two really likable girls are absconded by a couple of backwoods creeps on their way to a hippie farm. They are drugged and shackled, thrown into storage containers, and forced into sexual slavery. Eventually, they bust loose, and they wreak bloody vengeance on everybody. It's pretty intense stuff, but the two main girls are so likable, and you're so ready for them to take on all these creeps that it's very satisfying when they get to the revenge part. Rape revenge is definitely hard to do in this day and age, but this one I think was done really well. Even Lambs Have Teeth, so check that one out. But the two main ones that I wanted to tell you about that are both new films. The first one, it is difficult for me to recommend this movie based on the title, because the title of the film is Butt Boy. Now,
I read about this. I haven't had the guts to watch it.
it is a.
You got me already.
That is the worst title imaginable, but I must recommend it. This is a pitch black comedy about a guy who, during a routine rectal exam with his doctor, finds out that he really likes putting things in his ass. And it turns out that he has some sort of magical ass that will inhale just about anything that he jams into it, including small dogs and children. So
what?
So if he doesn't like someone, he can just shove them right up his ass.
So we go through this with him in the beginning. He ends up inhaling a child in his ass, and then he tries to hang himself because he's so upset about what happened. He doesn't, the rope breaks, and then we fast forward to 8 years later. He starts to sponsor a down on his luck detective in AA, so he's in AA now. Now, everybody thinks that he's an alcoholic like the rest of them. They don't know that he's a guy that puts things in his ass, and that's why he's in AA. But anyway, so he sponsors the detective, who eventually investigates a missing persons case at the butt guy's job, and soon figures out that the kid that's missing is up this guy's ass.
Is he alive?
So eventually,
it's like Geppetto getting swallowed by the whale.
Right. So listen, the detective eventually ends up stuck in the guy's ass too, and has to figure his way out.
Did you say fucking the guy's ass or stuck in the guy's ass?
Stuck in the guy's ass.
Stuck in the guy's ass.
Doesn't much of the latter part of the film take place within the guy's ass?
In the guy's ass, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Obviously, this film is absurd in the extreme, but it's played completely straight, which I like a lot. If you remember the movie Rubber, the movie about the killer tire, it's got that kind of vibe, and the climax is bananas. It's definitely one of the wildest films of the year and worth a watch for sure. That's Butt Boy. And the other new film that I want to tell you about is called Gags the Clown, which is it's a really funny and strange horror / black comedy about a mysterious clown terrorizing a Wisconsin town. If you remember, a couple years ago, there was a thing happening in the news where people were seeing clowns around. Like clowns would hang out in the woods scaring people and stuff. So it's a situation like that. So it takes place in real time in one night, as there's a bunch of characters. There's a right-wing podcaster, a local news team, a couple of cops, and then a group of like prankster teens all chasing around after this mysterious clown. In some ways, it has that like sort of rollicking all-night vibe of one of those comedies like Nick and Nora's or Dazed and Confused, that kind of thing. Yeah. But it's also got a strong and pretty frightening found footage influence as well. So it does an excellent job of shifting gears back and forth from comedy to stark horror. And it's also got this great horrifying / hilarious payoff at the end too. It's a real out of nowhere gem. Gags the Clown. By the way, both of those, Gags the Clown and Butt Boy, are on Amazon Prime right now, so you can see them for free. So I highly recommend both of those.
Question, Ken.
Yes.
So you don't like the title Butt Boy. What would you rename that if you could?
Good question.
Ass Man?
Ass Man would be... I would feel better about Ass Man than I would about Butt Boy.
Now, also, you mentioned that the Ass Man is in AA. Now, I haven't been yet, but I didn't know that either of those A's stood for that.
Right, exactly. Ass Anonymous.
Doesn't seem to track.
Butt Boy has, Butt Boy has a negative connotations now these days. The term Butt Boy. So
hopefully this film will rehabilitate it.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe. We'll see. All right, so there you go. That's what I've seen. How about you, Kelly?
I have two that I want to talk about.
Okay.
I watched Color Out of Space, which is the 2019 sci-fi horror,
right?
Starring the amazing Nicolas Cage. It's an adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft, The Color Out of Space. And it stars Nick Cage, who you all know. I mean, Mandy, Wicker Man, Face Off. Jolie Richardson, who starred in Nip Tuck and Event Horizon. Tommy Chong of Cheech and Chong is in this.
Far out, man.
Yes. I love this movie. It's directed by Richard Stanley. I don't really know him. I guess he did a movie called Hardwire, Dust Devil.
Yeah.
It's an hour and 51 minutes long. So basically, Nick Cage and his family move in and take over his father's alpaca farm. So I think maybe his father passed away. And they take over this like alpaca farm that's kind of like isolated. And it's Nick Cage, his wife, who is recovering from cancer, it seems. And the daughter is like a teenage Wiccan. And then you have the stoner son. And then another younger son who's played by the actor that starred in The Haunting of Hill House. He was the like cute little boy with the glasses. He's in this movie. So a meteorite smashes down on the property, and then crazy things start to happen. All these beautiful flowers start to bloom. There's something going on with the town wanted to purchase this property to make, I think, a reservoir or a dam or something. So you have some guy investigating the area, checking out the water, realizing that he thinks the water is contaminated. Every Nick Cage becomes even more Nick Cagey than ever.
Right.
If that makes any sense to you guys. And there's some really good morphing scenes in this movie that kind of remind me of the movie Society, where like people start morphing together and alpacas start morphing together. But this is all happening, but things are so beautiful. There's like lots of like purples and pinks, and just it's a really pretty movie. It's super psychedelic and trippy, but it's also just like a really good science fiction movie. I thought I really liked it a lot. It was just like a cosmic sci-fi horror, and Nick Cage was awesome.
Right on. Yeah. I saw it the first time and it didn't do too much for me, but I don't know if I paid enough attention to it. I gotta check it out again.
I really like Nick Cage, and I really liked the movie Mandy too, so I was pretty excited for that one.
Awesome.
The other one I watched was a recommendation from my friend Travis. My friend Travis just feeds me all the best movies.
Yeah.
We should have him on here one day.
Sure.
Castle Freak, 1995.
Oh God.
Yeah. Right.
I'd never seen this, and it's done by Full Moon Productions, which I'm sure you guys know. They did all like the Puppet Master movies and all the subspecies movies. So usually their films are pretty B horror, like, you know. This movie I thought was really well acted. It's directed by Stuart Gordon, who did From Beyond, Reanimator, Dolls. Stars Jeffrey Combs of Reanimator, Bride of Reanimator, Frighteners. I think, is this based on H.P. Lovecraft story as well?
Yep.
All right, cool. It also stars Barbara Crampton. She's in Reanimator, From Beyond, Your Next, Chopping Mall.
Can I
Character?
What's the
What'd you say?
I was just gonna ask if you're not talking, can you mute, because somebody's echoing. There's an echo in my ear.
Okay. All right.
Okay, Kelly.
Okay, so yeah, it stars Barbara Crampton, From Beyond, Reanimator, Your Next, Chopping Mall. It follows the character played by Jeffrey Combs. His name's John Riley. He's a recovering alcoholic, and he inherits this Italian castle from some relative. And so he travels with his wife and his blind daughter to Italy to move into this castle. You end up finding out early on the reason he's a recovering alcoholic is because he got into a tragic car accident because he was drinking and driving and kills his younger son and blinded his daughter. So now he's traveling to this castle with his blind daughter and his, wife seems like she doesn't want anything to do with him, and understandably. So you travel to this castle, and there's this creature that's been locked up in the dungeon. A creature with either a chopped off penis or a very, very small micro penis. It's really wild. It's this like crazy, horny, like castle creature that ends up breaking out and causing like complete and utter chaos in this castle. But in the meantime, Jeffrey Combs' character is trying to like sleep with his wife, who's obviously doesn't want to sleep with them because 9 months prior he killed their child and blinded the other one.
Sure.
So he gets upset that she won't sleep with him, and then goes out on the town and picks up an Italian sex worker and brings her back. And after they have a terrible, disgustingly hideous sex scene in the dungeon of the castle, the creature breaks free and attacks the sex worker and bites one of her tits off. It's really just crazy. It's utter chaos. I really liked the special effects in this movie. I thought they were really well done. I thought Jeffrey Combs was great at playing a very unlikable character. All of the acting was done really well, and I recommend it.
Fantastic, everybody. Castle Freak and Colorado Space. 2 recommendations from Kelly. And that's this week's recommendations, everybody. Come on. Come on. Hey, Stace, before we get to this week's group watch, it's time for the best kill of the week.
Oh, shit.
Did you not prepare it?
No.
That is gross.
Larsa, what's the best kill of the week?
From my movies, I think it is not the best, but it's the funniest. In Birdemic, how they try to make the birds kill people, and they just, use their beak to like attack people, and then the people running away from the birds will say, "She's dead."
Yeah.
She's dead.
Right.
But none of the movies had like, a really amazing killing. That was the funniest though, the Birdemic one.
All right, very good. Andy Excuse, what was the best kill of the week?
Oh man, I guess the guy puking up a weird little creature in the film we just saw was pretty fucking gnarly.
Okay, there you go. Kelly, what was the best kill of the week?
I really didn't prepare this, but I guess it's gonna have to be the one that I really already talked about. The creature in Castle Freak when he bites off that sex worker's breasts and I think like fucks her to death. It's really awful. That's probably it.
Oh, wow. Stace, do you have the best kill of the week?
Well, the only thing I saw was What We Do in the Shadows, and I guess in that movie it would be when one of the victims gets he bites her in her artery, and blood just keeps spraying all over the room,
Right.
and he's trying to clean it up.
For me, I don't want to spoil anything because if I go into detail, I will spoil the surprise. So let me just say that 2 of the films that I highly recommended this week both have spectacular full body explosions.
Ooh.
And then I'll just leave it.
Yikes.
I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, Stace, you don't get that many full. Sometimes you get heads exploding, but it's rare that you get a full body explosion.
Yikes.
You don't get too many of those. And I got 2 of them this week in 2 different movies, and I was very excited about it. All right, everybody, it's time for this week's group watch, which is 2019's The Beach House. Here's the summary from IMDb. A romantic getaway for 2 troubled college sweethearts turns into a struggle for survival when unexpected guests and the surrounding environment exhibit signs of a mysterious infection. It was directed by Jeffrey Brown. It's his first feature. It was shot in North Truro on the tip of Cape Cod, everybody, which is interesting.
I was just there last year.
Yeah, I stayed there once.
Familiar.
Yeah, I did.
Jessica recognized the houses as soon as she saw them. She's like, "That is at the Cape." I'm like, "Wow."
Totally, yeah. I mean, I stayed there once in the wintertime, and I was like, hey, this looks familiar. It stars Liana Liberato as Emily, the teenage scientist, and Noah Lagros as Randall, her deadbeat boyfriend. It is it's a body horror movie, a subgenre that many, including myself, find very upsetting. So let's talk about this movie that we all saw. Kelly, what did you think about the movie The Beach House?
I liked it. I thought it was I thought it was well acted. I thought it built up a lot of dread, which I always love in a horror movie. There was that one scene where she pulls that worm out of her foot, though. That was pretty alarming to me. I liked the coloring in this. There was it was pretty trippy as well at some points. It kind of reminded me a lot of certain parts of Color Out of Space.
It did, yeah. I would say that they're a good companion piece for sure.
I thought it had some really good camera work in it too. There was like lots of like almost like just trippy. Like you thought she like was like almost like fucked up, and like the way the camera would move. Yeah, I liked the film a lot. I would definitely recommend this.
So to set it up a little bit, Randall and Emily are a young couple. They're having some sort of problems. They were together. They were not together. They're giving it another go. So they decided to go to the beach house for the weekend. Her dad, Randall, his dad owns the beach house. They show up. First thing they do is go in there and they bang. Then Emily hears somebody downstairs. She comes downstairs. There's some older couple in the house. They're like, who the fuck are these people? Friends of her dad's. They didn't know that they were staying there. They decide, all right, well, we'll all stay here together. They have one kind of, fun night together, drinking wine, taking some edibles, just grooving, listening to music. It's a good night. But there's something weird happening out on the beach. They go outside and there's just weird lights. They find that the water is getting kind of slimy. They don't really understand what's happening. And then one by one, they all start succumbing to this weird sickness, environmental sickness. This is a virus movie, which I think is very prescient for the times that we are currently living in.
Definitely.
Because they sort of explain in like a very clever way, because they only give you, when they're desperately searching for some information, they turn on the radio. And the radio, in like just a quick burst, explains that there's like heating vents at the bottom of the sea, that because of global warming let bacteria loose that's been down there for millions and millions of years. It's bacteria that we don't really have any defenses against because it's been under there for so long, and then so these weird alien-like blooms show up on the beach and start infecting everybody. That's basically what happens. Hey, Rui, what did you think of The Beach House?
I really liked it. I thought the cinematography was amazing, and it's honestly a pretty Lovecraftian movie. Like, not too much is explained. The creatures are very some of the creatures, the best way to describe it is just a writhing mass of flesh.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
I didn't really understand why Emily would be with Randall. They seemed like
He was such a dumbass and he was such an asshole.
Yeah, he was an asshole. He all he wanted to do was sleep all the time. I mean, even before he got infected, he just wanted to lay around.
So lazy.
Maybe it's just because he's like a sexy guy, and then she likes him because she likes the way he looks. I don't know, but
that's a movie star.
Apparently, she's super smart.
Right.
And if you're that smart, why would you be with this guy?
Exactly.
That is just deadbeat? Like, what the doesn't make sense. Also, I didn't like any of the weed related scenes because I don't know what that weed had. I have been smoking for almost 20 years, and I have never had a trip like that. I think that shit was laced with something because, to me, it didn't make sense. Whoever wrote that scene with the weed has never had weed.
Well, I think it was a mix between them smoking weed and getting high, and then
The
Right.
gases.
dealing with the
Yeah,
contaminants. You know what I
it
mean?
was
I
the
agree.
combination, right?
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although
So
they seem to
yeah.
imply that the young lady was having the weirdest trip, man, but she was the one who didn't eat the oyster.
Right. So they got, well, initially. I mean, I think initially they got sick because the organisms were in the oysters, but then it all started coming in from the air too at that the weird fog. So
I love the fog in it.
Yeah, the fog was great.
Yeah.
I really like when she smashed that whatever tank into Randall's face. Like, about time.
Exactly.
She's a bad human being.
Right. They didn't show a lot of what was going on. Basically everybody in this little town was getting infected, and maybe everywhere was getting infected, and they were changing and metamorphosizing in weird ways. And you didn't see too much of it, but there was one scene in the basement before when she went to get the tanks there, where it was similar to Colorado Space, where there were like two people melding in some weird, gross, slimy
I love
way.
that. Yeah.
Which was a very disturbing sight.
It's
sure.
super disturbing.
And and also the film also I thought did a great job of basically showing the end of the world with just like 6 people.
Yeah.
You got the feeling that this was happening everywhere, all at once, and also you put so much stock in this girl Emily that if she can't make it, then who
Nobody
could?
is.
Right.
What hope is there?
Exactly. All right, Andy Excuse, tell us what you thought about the beach house.
I loved it as well. I was thrown for a loop because, the last couple times I was going to participate in the show, the movies were not that good.
Okay.
So
Sure.
I was very surprised to find that this one was really excellent. I loved it. I agree. Very trippy, especially in that first half as they're building the atmosphere of dread and weirdness. I just thought it was wonderful. And then the second half with more action, they really close it in with the fog and the darkness. So, it begins to feel very, very claustrophobic and frightening. The body horror I thought was up there with some of the better early Cronenberg.
Exactly. And there was one scene that that we were talking about where Emily, the main character, ends up with some kind of worm in her ankle that she has to dig out using tongs and a knife and
vinegar
and some vinegar. Which who knew? I didn't know that vinegar had anything to do with anything, but
that's why you do not have a degree in whatever the fuck science.
Exactly.
You use vinegar to clean all kinds of things, though. So
space monsters.
I love
Howie Mandel would not be able to handle this movie. Okay.
I love a good plucky female scientist. That's one of my favorite.
Who doesn't?
That's one of my
Who
favorite
doesn't?
characters.
They're intrepid.
All right, Lursa, what did you think of the movie?
Yeah, the story to me was, I thought it was going to be zombies, and we were like, this is so not, Ken movie. Like, what's going on here? Yeah, it was okay. I mean, the cinematography was beautiful and all that, but I don't know, I'm conflicted. I'm still upset about, like, the weed shit and, like, the trips and all that. I'm sorry.
Wait a minute. So you're over here recommending Birdemic.
Yeah, exactly.
Not recommend this?
The beacon of realism.
Are you shitting me?
Birdemic was great.
So hold on. All right, let's.
It was okay. It was okay. It was not my favorite because when I see like a horror movie, I really, really want to be scared.
Yeah.
And I wasn't that scared because all of this. Maybe because we're going through a pandemic and, you're seeing, so I'm watching the news all the time. And maybe because I'm like kind of like immune right now to what's going on with like people dying and like viruses spreading around. Maybe that's why I was like, okay, so we're kind of living that right now. And it didn't make me that scared.
All right, Lursa, do you give it a ding or a buzz? What's it going to be?
Is there something in the middle?
No. Pick one.
The pressure. I'll give it a ding because other stuff.
All right, there you go. So a ding from Lursa. It looks like we got a ding from Andy. We got a ding from Kelly. We got a ding from Rui. Let's ask Stacy what she thought.
Well, this isn't really the kind of movie I like. It's a little too doomy for me. It's not my thing. But with that being said, I think it was very well done. Like Larsa said, the cinematography is really good. It's very beautiful looking. But for me, it's not really my kind of story.
Yeah.
But it's not a bad movie. So
what do you give it?
I'll give it a ding.
Oh, you're going to give it a ding?
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Wow. I thought you were going to get a buzz for sure.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, it's one of these things where you can appreciate something for what it is, but it's not my kind of movie.
I can understand, because I feel like horror is supposed to be like escapism, you know what I mean? Like entertaining that way. And so if we're watching something with like Larissa said, where it's like a virus and we're all dealing with this pandemic right now, I can understand why people wouldn't enjoy this movie given the current climate.
Yeah, like it's a good movie. But it's not my cup of tea because like
maybe last year if it came out.
Exactly, maybe last year on a time space that none of this shit is going on, I'll be like, damn. But like right now, people are dying because they're spreading a virus. So.
That's fair enough. I thought it was, I watched it twice. I thought it was great both times. So there you go, everybody. Mostly, we're all on board for the Beach House, so that's good. Check it out, everybody. It's on Shudder right now. You can see it. Yeah, we got Shudder. Most people do. Hey, Kelly, how Salem was this movie?
Aesthetically, it was really, really cool looking. So I mean, maybe like a 6 or a 7.
Yeah, I mean, we have beach houses. We don't have houses here, but we have beach houses around.
We get a lot of fog too coming off of over Beverly Salem Bridge there.
Yeah, we sure do.
On the radio, they said it's toxic.
Yeah, exactly.
Turn you into a sea monster.
Right. All right, beautiful. All right, Stace, it's the end of the show. We got to get to the plugs, and then we will get out of here. There we go. Thank you. All right, everybody. Listen, I want to tell you about. Well, before I tell you about where you can find us, let's find out what's happening. Andy, excuse, do you have any rock and roll happening? These are scarce times for rock and roll. Are you working on anything?
Scarce times for rock and roll, but some of our old heavy leather topless dance party friends and family are working hard, rehearsing hard, composing songs, and getting them ready. So once we're allowed to actually play out, and we'll probably have some recording done by then.
Fantastic. Yay. We're looking forward to that. Okay. Hey, Larsa, do you have any Survivor stuff happening?
Well, it wasn't. It's not. It is not this week. It was last week. We had a panel about LGBTQ and race and intersectionality in Survivor. It was really, really good. You can find it at Rob Has a Podcast, rhap.com. It's very interesting. I will highly recommend it, not just because I was there. And for the first time, I was very serious in one of these panels because I'm always like a little bit high and making fun of everything.
What a way to be.
Yeah, I love to swirl my vajayjay when we play games. I'm always smoking, and then I get too high and get lost in the game because I'm too high to think about it, and people love that shit. This was like a real serious problem that we're having about race and minorities on the show, and how we never make it far from like the people that leave first in the group, the
right.
pre-merger. And it's really interesting. I will recommend it.
Wait a minute. Do white people usually win Survivor? Is that an issue?
Yeah, usually white men, because the show is produced by white men.
That's outrageous.
And the vision that comes into the show are those storylines because they can relate to the white male.
Right.
So they don't have anything of production that is a minority, like a person of color or like gay, that can relate to our stories. For our stories, even though we're there, is just to complement the big story of the white male winner.
Ridiculous.
And we have stories to tell. We are people too, and we are fucking interesting. I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah.
For sure.
Right on.
And it's just like in horror movies. The ethnic characters never make it to the end of the movie.
But why?
Right.
Are we not worth it?
Exactly. That's the questions that we're asking. And it sounds like you had some answers. So we should tune into that podcast.
Right on.
I think I'm way more worthy to stay alive than, like to at least die later than Randall. And if I was in that movie, The Beach House,
Exactly.
You would make it to the end, I think.
Yeah.
Or close to it.
The first one out, and then Randall will die.
Right.
And that's
Oh my God.
Honestly, in
I'm
the
super political. Sorry, this is not the type of podcast for that.
in the Beach House, I think Mitch deserved to live a little longer than Randall did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But Mitch checked himself out. He's like,
Guys,
I'm going for a swim, and that was it.
He's no
I'm
fool.
not gonna deal with this shit. Bye.
It's funny because that scene reminded Stacy of we went to Revere Beach once, and the
Not Revere Beach, the Point of Pines Beach.
Well, same thing, but
not the actual beach is different.
But the okay, so we went to Point of Pines, and the tide was it was low tide, right? It was low tide or high tide? It was low tide. So I had to keep walking further and further out to get into the water. And so she was sitting on the beach, like watching me, like turn into a tiny dot as I walked further and further into the ocean, just so that I could get into the water. Anyway, okay, everybody, our YouTube page is youtube.com/Heavy Leather Horror Show. Facebook page, facebook.com Heavy Leather Horror Show. And also, we had a show called the Heavy Leather Topless Dance Party. HeavyLeatherForever.com is where you can find that one. I want to remind you that we're part of the Campaneros Radio Network. Go Campaneros is their site. You can check out Movie Melt, Get Soft with Dr. Snuggles, and Songs on Trial. And now Heavy Leather Horror Show. And Kelly and I were both on Get Soft last night, so you'll be hearing that soon. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next week with another movie and more fun. Until next time, stay spooky, everybody.
We gotta get out of here.